Hello, hope you're having a great day. Now, usually I put these videos out a day after they're filmed, but today this will be going out the day that it is being filmed. Today is the day after Boxing Day, and yesterday, Boxing Day, I didn't pick the camera up. In fact, I spent most of the day in bed. Now, in the video that I released on Boxing Day, which was filmed on Christmas Day, I mentioned that, Christmas for some reason is a time where I always just feel a bit down. I have a bit of a dark cloud come over me, and I don't really know why. It's just the way it is, and I know I'm not the only one either. Going by the sort of research I've done, watching videos about it. But I filmed that video on Christmas Day that went out yesterday on the way to my parents. I'd already sort of started feeling better at that point, and I was just talking you through this dark cloud that comes over me on Christmas. And as it turned out, the things that were going through my mind when I was feeling down, laying in bed on Christmas morning, weren't really relevant. Because I can see things for what they are, I could see that my mind was trying to drag me into the future and imagine my dad being really bad with his dementia and Alzheimer's or whatever, and imagine me having to talk to my brother, who I don't really like, if I'm honest. Because I was able to see that for what it was and, not allow my mind to drag me into the future and worry about them things. I bring myself back to the present moment and understand that I don't need to worry about those things until they happen. Well, as it happens, when I got to my parents, my dad was actually in a really good mood. He was still being forgetful, but he was, in a good state. So me worrying about how he was going to be was irrelevant. And I didn't even end up talking to my brother. My brother wasn't there. He didn't call while I was there. So the couple of things that my mind was trying to get me to worry about before I needed to worry about them, I actually didn't end up needing to worry about. And that's the point. When your mind tries to drag you into the future to worry about something you don't need to worry about in that moment, there's a chance that you might not even need to worry about those things. Things might pan out differently. And that's why it's always better to focus on the present moment and take things as they come. Because if I had allowed my mind to, continually worry about how my dad was going to be, and worry about, having to talk to my brother, for instance, I could have turned up at my parents' place in a certain mood. I could have given off a certain vibe, and I could have myself caused a bit of an atmosphere at my parents. It could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy. I could have been the one that caused an atmosphere that then causes negativity that my mind was anticipating that could have been there, without me causing it. So, it's just a great example of why it's best, when your mind is trying to drag you into the future to dread something, it's best to see that, right, my mind is now trying to drag me into the future. I don't need to worry about that until the future becomes the now. Bring myself back to the present moment and deal with what I need to at the moment, which when I'm laying in bed feeling negative, what I needed to deal with in that moment was getting myself out of bed, right? So, you bring yourself back to the present moment, focus on what you need to at the moment, and accept that you're going to deal with whatever it is in the future when it comes. And then you find that you're in a better state to deal with whatever crops up because you haven't spent a load of time dreading something that might not even happen anyway. So, my Christmas Day panned out, being really good. Had a good time around my parents' place. Ended up going back to pick my beautiful girlfriend Kat up from her parents' place afterwards. One thing that was a bit silly, my mum bought Kat some flowers for Christmas, and I left them at my parents' place, which was really silly. And then that gave me another sort of excuse, if you will, to sort of feel bad. But again, you just bring yourself back to the present moment. There's nothing I can do about it. I'd left the flowers behind. That's in the past. I could have spent the whole evening, regretting that I'd left my girlfriend's present at my parents' place, and that could have ruined my evening. Or you just accept that it's happened. I'd already sort of almost made my way back to London before my mum rang me to tell me that I'd left them behind. So there's nothing I could do in that moment. Brought myself back to the present moment, which was to get to Kat's parents' place and enjoy the rest of the evening with them. And that's what I did. And Christmas Day turned into a great day, even though it started really badly. And then on Boxing Day, my plans were to sort of get up and get myself back on track and get cracking with work and and, get myself back on track. And that was a realistic possibility because Christmas Day had turned into a great day. Christmas itself is over. So, that kind of makes me think that, the dark cloud could then potentially have passed. But I woke up Boxing Day and I didn't even feel that down, to be honest. I just felt ridiculously lazy. Like, I just was in one of them moods where I just wanted to stay in bed all day. And, it'd make more sense if I was feeling down, if I was feeling depressed, if that's what you want to call it. But I actually wasn't. Now, the plan for yesterday, for Boxing Day, was to go round to Kat's parents' place. Again, they had some other sort of family friends coming over that hadn't been round during their Christmas Day. We're going to have loads of good food and stuff and chill out. And, I was up for that. Like, I was planning to join Kat at her parents' place. We were supposed to go around there about 2 p.m. And, while I'm laying in bed, I started sort of realising that, I wasn't going to be able to edit the on-track video that I put out yesterday and do the bits of work that I wanted to do. I had some behind-the-scenes stuff to do and whatnot, and get ready in time to go to Kat's parents. So it was a case of I wasn't going to be able to do everything that I wanted to do and go to Kat's parents' place. I really wanted to, go through my morning routine and stuff yesterday because I hadn't done any of that on Christmas Day. And it was just obvious that there wasn't going to be enough time for me to do everything. And then, I'm just laying in bed sort of contemplating what I'm going to do. But, all the while just feeling super lazy, like as if I don't want to get out of bed at all. So I basically ended up staying in bed. I was still in bed when Kat left here at 2 p.m. I was still in bed at 4 p.m. And as I say, I wasn't feeling particularly down. I was regretting that I'd sort of wasted the day, but that's all really there was in terms of negative feelings about the situation. Now, I could definitely feel that, there was sort of negative thoughts trying to come in, things like, oh, maybe I should stop making these videos. If I'm not able to sort myself out and keep myself on track, then what kind of example am I to people watching these videos? And then I'm thinking to myself, well, making these videos is a big part of me staying on my sort of health and fitness journey. So maybe I just should stop doing these daily exercises, stop going to the gym, stop going to boxing. So things were starting to sort of come into my mind, like negative thoughts. But I'm lucky that I'm able to see these things for what they are. Like, I just see these voices, if you want to call them voices, in my mind, or these thoughts as separate to me. They don't overcome me. They're just there, and I see them as thoughts, and I acknowledge that they are nonsense. Like, I acknowledge that if I was to focus on them thoughts, they would become true. But if I accept them for just thoughts and accept that they're not me and that my mind is a separate entity to me, then they won't become true. But even though I'm able to see thoughts for what they are, it doesn't stop them trying to come in, right? And ultimately, that didn't stop my overwhelming desire to just be lazy and stay in bed. Now, maybe because I sort of go hard with my fitness every day and stuff, and maybe I'm just going too hard. Maybe I needed that day or that half a day, in bed yesterday. Maybe I needed a day off of my working out and stuff on Christmas Day as well. Who knows? I certainly woke up today still feeling achy, still feeling lazy. The laziness is going to be there for all time for me, I think. I'm just inherently lazy after spending my whole adulthood as a lazy person, as a waste man, as a drug addict, as someone that has never really tried hard at anything, But this morning, even though I've had like 2 days off, I still woke up feeling achy. So maybe my body did need a bit of a rest. But, if I'm honest with myself, I don't go like so hard that it's going to break me. I'm not like running a marathon every day. What I'm doing every day is doable, I feel. And, the achy muscles and the feeling tired in the mornings, like, isn't a reason for me to feel like I'm overdoing it. So, I could have still gone through my morning routine on Christmas Day. I could have still, got myself out of bed yesterday if I tried hard enough. because I know that once I get myself out of bed and start going through my morning routine, I've said this so many times, like it sort of all just happens on its own. Like I start waking up and stuff. It's just that initial like desire of mine to stay in bed and be lazy that I need to overcome. Once I sort of snap out of that, everything else, with the right amount of effort, falls into place. And yesterday I just could not snap out of this desire to stay in bed. I remember laying there like needing to go to the toilet for hours, like, and just not even getting up to go to the toilet. Like maybe because the sort of negative side of my mind knew that if I got up and went to the toilet, it'd be a risk of me snapping out of that lazy spell. I don't know. But yeah, about 4 p.m, I did sort of get up and started cracking on with some work. I had some merchandise to wrap up, which I'm either going to take to the post office today or tomorrow. I've finished editing the video on the other channel that really and truly I would have liked to put out Christmas Day or yesterday, like if I was still bang on my work those couple of days. And yeah, done some behind the scenes stuff. I've set up like a bit of a sale, sort of Boxing Day, January sale. So yeah, I ended up getting, quite a lot done, but I didn't end up joining Kat to go to her parents' place. So, it wasn't the day that it was supposed to be. And this is always the way, like when a day starts poorly, I always end up turning it around, which is great. Like, there's been times in the past where I've gone on sort of days and days long sort of spells, usually when I was coming down from drugs, and getting depressed, during that. So yeah, I'm grateful that nowadays I am able to turn things around. Like, I'll be sort of lazy and maybe down in the first bit of the day, and then eventually once I snap out of it, I'm able to turn it around. But I can't live my whole life like that. The way I want to be is I want to be getting up every morning and going at life and getting stuff done, every day consistently, because I understand how consistency compounds, and that's how you make a success of your life. It's not by, going at it, and then letting things slip, and then going at it, and letting things slip, I need to build like some sort of resilience to my laziness, like build an ability in the morning to get up, snap out of that laziness and get going, because the knowledge is there. Like I understand that, when my mind is trying to fill my head with negativity, I understand that it is just thoughts. I don't get drawn into these things. That's great. I've got that knowledge. I understand that once I get up and start getting going with my morning routine, I will, gradually wake up and the rest of the day will pan out good. That knowledge is there, but it doesn't mean I'm immune to falling into these traps in the morning where I'm just lazy and I can't get going. And yesterday was a perfect example of that, where, I didn't, sort of snap out of it at 10 a.m. instead of 7:30. I snapped out of it at 4 p.m. I'm not going to get that time back, Now, obviously, I'm not going to allow my mind to dwell on that, because that's another example of my mind dragging me into the past, taking me away from the present moment, and, me dreading what's gone on the last couple of days, if I allow it to, will affect what I can do in the now, affect what I can do today. So I'm not going to do that. But, I've got to acknowledge that that time is lost. I'm now not as far along in everything that I do than I would be if those days weren't lost. But that's how it is. So look, today I just wanted to make this video to tell you exactly what happened yesterday, because I didn't pick up the camera. I do keep getting these thoughts. One of the negative thoughts that comes in my mind all the time is, should I carry on making these videos? Like, I know that they don't get millions and millions of views. I know that I'm not really qualified to be sort of telling other people how to live their lives, because I haven't got my own stuff handled. But realistically, self-improvement is something you never really get handled. You just constantly improve, right? And I definitely feel like I have improved in the last almost a year. And I also know from the messages I get from some of you guys that these videos do somewhat help. So, that's the conflict that's going on in my mind there. Do I really have a right to make these kind of videos versus actually people do watch them? And, the views and stuff, like, it doesn't bother me that much. Like, as long as there's one person watching the videos, then that means that someone's getting something from it, right? And you know what? Making these videos helps me massively as well. Rightly or wrongly, it's kind of become a crutch, because, when I am sort of trying to pick myself back up, during these times where I have fallen off. It's these videos that does help, because I'm like, no, I've got to get back on track because I need to make the videos. Like, if it wasn't for me making these videos, I wouldn't have come as far as I have. So, you know, the videos help me, the videos help other people. So in my mind, that's a good enough reason to keep them going. But anyway, right now I need to crack on with my day today, which you'll be able to see in tomorrow's video. But yeah, in the meantime, let me know in the comments how your Christmas went, and let me know if any of you guys out there sort of, for some reason, you know, have this sort of dark cloud come over you during the festive period, because I know I'm not the only one. But other than that, massive thanks to everyone who's tuned in as usual. Feel free to say hello in the comments and we'll have a chat, or get in touch through the usual channels. All the links to everything will be in the description as usual. I'll be back for another video tomorrow, so I'll chat to you then.